Good morning, guys. Give me a second because today what we are doing is going live on Instagram as well. All right, so I just want to welcome everyone. This has been almost like a day by day series of live streams. So our goal is to help you to see how easy it is to save time, how easy it is to create content, because one of the biggest problems that I see with coaches worldwide, doesn't matter where you live, doesn't matter what specialty you have, is that we are all time deficient. Many of you guys are taking your brick and mortar business completely online, and that's so new. Many of you are starting your business as coaches. Many of you are building amazing one-on-one thriving businesses or memberships or groups. And so with our programs, with our content, you can buy it, you can brand it, you can change the content, you can rearrange, you can package it into a course, package it into a signature program. You can really do anything. So a lot of coaches have been asking us, can I change the name? Can I change the cover? How do I make this easy? And the answer is, we want to make it easy for you, because when I started first coaching back in 2010, graduating from Institute for Integrative Nutrition, I had 2 kids under the age of 4. And it was not only overwhelming to start my business, but it was extremely overwhelming to think, how do I have content for blogs? How do I have workshops to create visibility, to be able to start showing my expertise, really giving value, addressing the pain, the problem, and then of course, my workshop, my free group, my freebie, but most importantly, my paid offer is the solution. So in today's training, what we're going to be going over is how easy it is to actually launch a signature program, even if you have no idea where to start. So in today's training, I'm actually going to go over pre-marketing, because we said, let's break down how do you create social media marketing so that we really lessen this massive overwhelm of where do I start. For those of you on Instagram, hello. And for those of you, of course, on Facebook and YouTube, feel free, if you want to come and see this later, I'm going to actually put this on my website at rachelafeldman.com. If you have questions about this program, which is the 21-day hormone detox, or even any of our programs that you can make into a course, offerings on your work with me, a group, self-paced program, 3-month intensive, please let us know. So at the top, you're going to see a launch overview. This is what I suggest for everyone. This is why when you buy from us, we have a launch manual, because it asks you a lot of these questions. And so when I'm working with, of course, either a client or I'm discussing, promises and delivery time and price, I like to do it in this format. Just to give you a quick overview, it also helps us as the overwhelmed coach to break it down. Let me cover these categories. Program name, you want to, of course, know that your pricing, early bird, which means the pricing that somebody can actually access when you first open cart. Typically, that period is about 7 to maybe 10 days. Normally, you have a 2-week open cart. This is what's normally. Many of you, I'm sure, have seen countdowns, and usually maybe it's a 10-day open cart, 14-day, but we've seen those kind of ranges. Then, of course, if somebody doesn't act fast in the early bird stage, also you'll see this as EB, early bird, then of course they get the regular price. Of course, you can have payment plans as well, but just wanted to cover these basics. Delivery timeline, 10 weeks. What is the, what is the time that you're going to actually going to start this program. We have this starting for January 14th through March 18th. So you might say, well, this is a 21-day hormone detox. Our content can be extended. This could be step one of maybe a longer program. And so we just kind of made this a little longer because maybe you are using the 21-day hormone detox to kick off to a fertility program, or again, you're just extending it. Format: group program or one-on-one, to make it simple for today. Big promise: by the end of this program, you will, after just 10 weeks, you will have everything. We could, of course, just say this is a 4-week program, that it's 21 days, and you're adding an extra week for people to get their tongue scraper, their probiotics, their digestive enzymes, maybe some of their extra support for either adrenals or maybe DIM. Your client takes DIM. So many different cool things that could be just added by just giving an extra week to a program. So modules include the details of what you're going to offer. A lot of you guys ask us, how should I format this? And my response is often, what do you think will be the best win for your client? Do you feel that it's better to actually extend this and give them a little more time to get this accomplished? Is it actually great for you to say, what's included is 4 weeks in my group? I'm going to do 2 master classes, 2 live trainings, 2 live Q&As, and I'm going to be doing a Voxer, like Voxer, for example, if somebody had a question, or maybe you're going to put in a form where they can fill out their questions, or you're doing this in a Facebook group where you can say questions and everyone can comment under. Make it really simple. So include what they're actually getting. This is not only imperative on a program that you're selling, but this is as imperative on your work with me. I'm going to give you an example that I have taught forever. Is that if you're going to buy a car, back in the day, I sold cars at one time in my life. If you're going to buy a car and somebody says, well, what's the difference between this basic package to the sports package? You're not going to just say, oh, the sports package is so good. You're going to love it. It gives you the ability to have these really great tires. You're going to actually say, here, look at what's included here versus here. That is sales. Whether you are, a chakra healer, or you're a homeopath, or you work with kids with autism, or you work with parents, or you work at ketogenic, doesn't matter what niche, what modality, people need to know what they're getting, and they need details. Maybe when you're later in your career and you're extremely established, maybe you can lessen that because you've established your name. You are seen as the expert and an influencer by many other people. And each one of you can get there. If I got there with no Facebook ads, a crappy website, really crappy, YouTube videos that had no video intro, no scripts, and I had no idea how to do marketing, you can do it. So make sure that you're always really focusing on what's included. Features, you really want to say, are you having Q&A calls? Is it a Facebook group? Are you doing this on Kajabi? Maybe it has kind of categories for you doing a community there. Maybe you're doing this in Practice Better, and you have the highest level Practice Better. And so what you're including is this amazing group. So many different things. Are you giving bonuses? And that's what's really cool when we have people say, how do I really step myself apart with this program? The cool thing is you have even your freebies in this package that could be bonuses. There's so many amazing things that can be bonuses, but we're going to save that for another training. So I think you guys get the get the drift of like really going through and lessening your overwhelm by taking action and writing this down. Benefits, what are the big takeaways? Name at least 10 of them. And if you are struggling to figure out what would be the benefits, you're going to just go into the program and you're going to read, because these are written by health and wellness, hormone, functional medicine coaches. I mean, people are actually running businesses. They know what needs to be in there, not only for you as the salesperson selling from your soul, your heart, but for also your client to really have a great customer flow. Then, of course, look at the refund. So now we're going to actually move into like, how do you create this pre-buzz? How do you make it really simple to go in and kind of put a format together? This is what I call a standard caption format. So it's like a big hard-hitting question, like, did you know you could be carrying around 5 to 10 pounds of toxic weight? I remember when I had these symptoms, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the exact smoothie I drink that pulls out heavy metals naturally. Did you know that heavy metals can lead to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? This one kind of format, and that's not even with hashtags and all those special features, you can duplicate that same kind of format over and over. And so when you're really thinking of coming out of overwhelm, not only can you use that one format, I'm going to show you a few different others. And it's not, everyone's got a different style of writing, their captions under maybe their social media post, even under their lives, even under their YouTube description. But the thing is, we got to start. We're not going to be perfection, we're not going to be able to master perfection like right in the beginning. We got to give ourselves a little compassion in learning how to like walk, then run, and sometimes we have a flip-flop. Are you struggling with a little different of a format? Are you struggling with these core issues? You're addressing the exact pain points your ideal client has, your dream client, your client avatar. And so does this sound like you? You're pulling them into this, into actually this specific post. This was me X amount of years ago. You're letting them know I've been in your shoes. And if you haven't been in their shoes, you're going to say, this was my wife many years ago. This was my son. This was my child. This was my family member. This was my friend. It helps somebody to also understand W. Exactly. What is your why? Like, why should I trust you? Help me understand that why. Help me understand that you get where I've been. And so that's a big part of really when you're doing your pre-marketing, or you're doing what I call like your storytelling to lead people to the pre-marketing and then open cart. Somebody has to know why you do this. Trust is not just built because you launch a challenge. Trust is not just built because you have a signature program on your website. That's a dime a dozen. Trust is built because you consistently, every day, help that person to identify their pain. They're already in pain, but they need you as the coach to actually say, I understand that you may be struggling with your hair falling out. You may not even know why your hormones are not working, and yet you've seen 10 different specialists in the last month. Maybe you're struggling with this massive anxiety and heart palpitations because your hormones are not functioning. Or maybe you were told that you have estrogen dominance. Is this you? This is just from thinking. This isn't because I'm a marketing master. This is just from thinking of every person I've ever talked with. My own hormone struggles. People who say things to me all the time, like, I just feel so overwhelmed because I'm struggling with these 25 problems. It's you as the coach in your storytelling, in your pre-marketing, that get to take them through the pain, help them to identify and give them a solution. Download the free recipes in this guide that help me sleep better. We're hitting another big pain point. So we're just going to go right here. My client realized she had a toxic liver, and liver is responsible for processing your hormones, let alone the excess estrogen. We pulled this from the actual program. So I'm going to just show you, and then I'm actually going to bring up this program because I have heard every one of you say, Rach, I don't know where to start. So I'm going to show you literally where to start. So I'm going to save you that massive pain that we all feel like, oh my goodness, it's January and every different guru is telling me like plan. And I'm sitting there and I know what I need to do, but I don't have the content. I can't tell you how many people have said, I don't have the content. You do. I'm going to show you why. Everything that we pulled in that social media, in those social media captions, is in your content. One of our coaches, Jess Royston, who used to teach a lot with me about how she was able to launch her first program and get, I think it was 47 people. She has videos that she did with me and she's like, all I did, Rachel, was print out the guide. And I started going through and seeing what were some of the key topics that I needed to talk about to highlight and showcase the benefits of this program, help my ideal client to understand that all these different pain points can be solved by working with me either in a one-on-one capacity, joining my group, joining your masterclass, joining your membership. Wherever you have decided to plan your energy, I'm all for it. What we want to teach you is how to use our content and make it so simple so you do have that success. Here's the cool thing. We have a table of contents. Social media post 1, detox basics. Why do we have to detox, when our hormones are wacky? What is liver congestion about? If I go right here to liver congestion, it's right here. See, we just pulled that. That's all it is. And if this is a struggle to do it by yourself, get a buddy, or get your significant other, or hire a virtual assistant or a writer, that can actually listen to you or help you extract these parts of the program. So you lessen your overwhelm and you can actually put your head down and write down the tangible steps that you need to do. So right here, I would start with why is a hormone detox, where you're leading them in that freebie. And we're just going to wrap this up without making this a very long free training. You're going to go through. If you need, hey, what are signs? You can copy and paste. Coaches have said to me, well, if I copy and paste that, why would they want to get the program? I always say, because that's just an element of what they could Google. They know what the signs are, but they need you in that social media post, in that workshop, in that live to help them go past just what they can Google with their, fingers, of course. We all can do that. But here's what's really neat is that you have your 2 freebies. So you saw this right here, how to detoxify your body for healthy hormones. I love either having a freebie that you're giving away to people, a workshop that you're hosting in your Facebook group, or you're making one special for your Facebook group. You're really building that buzz, the excitement. You're giving yourself enough time to say, wow, if I really did that for 3 weeks, if I listen to what Rachel said, and I see that it's this easy, and I follow the 30-day launch plan that we have in a calendar of tangibles, then you can take a breath. If you don't, of course, know how to put a freebie into an email marketing platform, such as Flowdesk, MailerLite, MailChimp, ConvertKit. Maybe the second tier that you hear is like ActiveCampaign, Ontraport, Infusionsoft, Kajabi, etc. Then this is worth hiring somebody. It's worth outsourcing to find a virtual assistant. Great place to find somebody to do this kind of work at a very, very low price. I know from my clients doing this is going onto Fiverr, Fiverr, looking for a gig. That's what they call their opportunities for you to hire somebody. And looking for somebody that can be a virtual assistant. This means it's an assistant to you, but they're working virtually in the world. And you will be blown away because you might see somebody be able to set up one form, one landing page for maybe like $30 or less. Right here. All we have is content. If you say, well, Rachel, but I can't do it live, I'm going to reposition this to you. If you want the amount of success that you've planned for 2021, or you're attending a class for 2021, or maybe you're attending a class like how do I 10X, how do I, do an on-demand webinar, or maybe you're just starting your business. It's okay. Nobody has the oomph and the grit unless you naturally know how to do a live, and none of us do. But what we do is we take content. Many people sell to you live topics. Many people sell to you video topics. And that's great. I actually have those freebies. And I think we went over live topics in our Facebook group. But for most introverted coaches, and even the extroverts like myself who have a fear of public speaking and all that mindset stuff, like, what if I sound stupid? What if nobody hires me? All that stuff is just because you're pushing yourself to, show up and present yourself as the expert. It's as simple as this. You say, on this day, because I know in leading people to this program, I need to show the value. You can literally break this one guide up into one video a day. One video on change your diet. One video on cut out the toxins. One video on sweating, which I have to do this morning. One video on breathing deeper. One video on making journaling a habit. That's from one piece of content. And so I know it feels overwhelming. But even if you didn't put this in a form, guess what? And then I will I will end with this and take a few questions. If you guys are on Instagram, hi, feel free to send me a direct message. I will give a voice reply or a video reply. If you guys have any questions about launching your signature program, your signature offer, and using our content so you save time instead of having to create that all yourself, or you have questions about, hey, I want to have these signature offers on my Work With Me page. Rach, how did you do that? Because keep in mind, guys, I built more of a thriving one-on-one. That was my goal. And so my groups were lower cost options for people who weren't ready. And my 60-minute session or my low-cost self-paced program were for people who weren't ready to really go all in with me one-on-one, or they couldn't afford it. So if you guys have a question about what would be the best, drop us a line at yourhealthcoachbiz.com. Drop us a line, hands down, because you don't have to struggle and you don't have to suffer. It doesn't mean it won't feel overwhelming. Just like take a deep breath and know that. But what I can guarantee you is between the manual, between the 30-day launch, between, just that mindset that you really need to put the fears to side, you will be able to say, I'm going to this month, here's my plan, Rach. I'm going to buy one of those signature programs because it does come with 2 workshops, 2 freebies, all the information relative to that core program. It comes with social media, all relative to that core program, that niche. You have the pre-marketing emails completely done. Instead of you needing to go and hire somebody to create pre-marketing emails, which on average can be anywhere from 100 an email, usually 75, maybe low, or maybe someone's got a special deal for like $697. They're done for you. And yes, there are a lot of moving pieces, but you could also say, wow, so Rach is saying in that one freebie, because I didn't know how to do automation, but what I did is this. I started talking about all these problems. You're going to open up your guide and you're going to write down every problem. You're going to make a whiteboard, which I right now, of course, have different roadmaps for making money. But in the old days, I had a whiteboard for what I was going to do to launch my business as Rachel's Wellness. I didn't know automation, but what I did perfectly is that I started showing up on my personal page talking about my life, my backstory. I then looked at platforms. I didn't decide to go all in on one platform until I really tested all of them to see where my ideal client was hanging, and most importantly, their behaviors when they were searching for something. What I realized back in the day with nobody telling me is I knew Google was a machine. And it is. It's a search engine optimization machine, SEO. I knew if that I went and pretended that I was my ideal client, which I was like my ideal client, man or female, or kids in a lot of different ways, if I started searching for something and I did it on a private window on Safari, also called an incognito window, that it would be safe to say that I would see the habits of my ideal client. So I searched, how do you get rid of, strep in a child's gut? How do you, what could be the causes for rashes when there's autoimmune? Why would there be massive food allergies even when the gut is balanced? What would lead to an imbalanced, gut flora? And then if I thought about some of my clients that didn't even know what was wrong, why am I so tired? Why are my hormones a mess? Why do I have low sex drive? I thought about not just the content. I thought about where's my audience hanging out? And so I made a really pivotal decision, which was probably one of the best ones that I could make, is that I decided to place my efforts in a lot of different places versus somebody who says, I'm only going to test this one platform. But I didn't do it without pulling out my hair. What I did successfully is I said, I'm going to make sure that I do a video a week. I knew from growing up in the world with Fabian Fredrickson and Marie Forleo back in the day, they had said over and over, video is most important. You may see me now, I can speak in front of people, but that's because I've exercised that part of me and I've practiced until mastery. And there's always, of course, more to learn. But I sat there and I said, no excuses. I am willing to do things I'm not comfortable doing because my why is so big. Because I can instantly feel the pain of so many of my own past experiences, that of my children, that of my family members, that of friends, way before I had clients. And that's what I stayed focused on. How overwhelming it was to learn how to create this healthy map. So I took pieces of content that, of course, I was writing at the time. I wrote down every story topic, but then I looked for content that either I could use or something that I would make. Guess what? Content can be blogs, that can be a live. As you saw, I went through a freebie, which could be a series of 5 lives. And what I used to do without knowing any automation, but knowing human connection and what works, I would just say to people, guys, and I want to talk about why my hormones were so jacked and what I wish I would have known. And at the end of the video, I would say, and if you want to find out more, contact me. And at that time, I didn't have anything all together, I would put my email and I would also put a phone number. I thought, well, if somebody really wants to get in touch with me on YouTube, that's what I'll put. Or I'll put, of course, my website, and then made sure that my phone number was there. The second thing that I would say to people is, hey, if you really like this, feel free to reach me at, this email, or send me a personal message or direct message, because all sales and connection and trust building and building that know, like, and trust factor is having a conversation. For those of you who went to IN, you know the big line that IN says, one conversation can change your life. I believe it's true. And I believe that what's lacking in the industry, left and right, in every different niche, is that we don't have that human connection as long as we really need to navigate the health path. That's why I think those of you, and you know who you are changing the path of how we operate in this world, because this one size fits all approach is so broken, so broken. And so what I did is I would say to people, hey, I'm really excited. I've been working on this free gift. Here, if you want this, send me a personal message. Tell me what's going on. It's the same thing in direct messages on Instagram. For those of you who are huge Instagrammers, this strategy is bring somebody into a conversation. And right there, you can say to somebody, hey, do I have permission to send you this? And of course, find your own words. I'm a little more slang. I would say something like, oh my God, it's so awesome that you're here. Like, do you want me to hit you up with this guide? That's my verbiage. Find your own script, per se. You don't need somebody to tell you what that script is. You lived this. This is in your heart. Just stop doubting it. Get that person into a conversation. Boom, you have their email. Put it on an Excel spreadsheet. Name, email, date contacted, date I sent, the freebie. Did I send through personal email? And then, of course, the problems after. Write down what they said. That's your market research. It is that easy, guys. It is that easy. Let me lower. Let me breathe, Rach. The second one, and I showed this on a video, guys, please either go to my podcast. I think we're releasing it this week, but I think this is also on YouTube, where I talked about how do you get emails from a Facebook group. The last one I'm going to leave you with, so that you are armed with everything you need to know, so your anxiety can lessen, your creative clarity, your heart-based strategy starts to really come in, is that you can bring people to a group. We just talked about how to get a freebie. Great. Now you can do a second simple exercise, even with no automation. You can say to people, I'm opening this group. Make a banner in Canva. For those of you who have, of course, our Canva templates, that's super easy. I've researched for years to have great designers. It's very hard to find. So when you have our content, boom, go into one of the templates, make a copy, add in a personal picture, and say, join my free group, masterclass or webinar or workshop on X topic. And if we're talking about the 21-day hormone detox, that's 2 PowerPoints for your free group. How do you get great engagement? Make it the place people want to be. Make it solution-based. So it's taking those 2 workshops and using them, and then going in the free group, making 2 events, post them as announcements, and then make the 3 questions as I detailed video and even step-by-step to say, what is your name? Do I have permission to, or like, what is your email so I can send you this free gift? That free gift can, of course, be that freebie. And I want to, do I have permission to put you on a newsletter so I can send you new information that is your problem? Or the last one could really say, like, what are your core health problems with hormones? What has worked? What has not worked? And all of a sudden you have email, you have market research, you have everything that you need to have a thriving business without any complicated tech platform, without feeling like you can't do this unless you've mastered tech. And the third is feeling like you have to have everything perfect to start. That is false, false, false. There's not one coach that I know, unless they just had it really easy, meaning they had a lot of money when they started, they hired a virtual assistant, an executive assistant, a team, etc., and a team to help with marketing and all of those things, where they did that really early on. I would say that's about 20%. Most people have to do it the way that I've explained. So in those two examples, guys, it makes it really easy for you to actually do it and get things, of course, done, and not feel like you have failed yourself or your business. Let me just, before we end, say hello to a few people. Hey, guys. I totally loved your name, Stars of Vita. Leslie said, is it only me? I'm not hearing. Well, I hope you can hear, but I think Beverly just said, yes, I can hear her. Somebody's saying, oh my goodness, I love you, Rachel. Thank you so much. This is just what I needed to make an amazing year. Whoop, whoop. And guys, this is what we are going to be jamming about in my free Facebook group. I will be putting events in the event section, as well as on my personal page, so that you guys can know when we're doing these lives, getting out of my corporate job and retiring the hubby. Such a great why. Print that out, girl, and look at that. Print that out, put that on your bathroom mirror, put that in your office, put that in your car, put that everywhere. So you are so crystal clear that that is your goal. And then reverse engineer from, this is my goal, so what are my daily tangibles? What are my non-negotiables? What do I have to do every day to attract my ideal client? Because I'm going to be talking about these problems. I'm going to be talking about a little mini solution. I'm going to be leading them to either, I would say, I think it would be safe to say that it's an easier conversion to lead somebody to a direct message or a personal message than to say, here, sign up for a discovery call. Discovery calls are great, guys, but I will tell you, just to lessen the mistakes that a lot of us make in the beginning, because I made them. When someone does discovery call, that's when you've built trust. You want to date them first. You need them to start seeing you and being like, oh, wow, this person's consistently showing up and I see that value. There's not a perfect roadmap for how do I list build. There are strategies, but these are the non-negotiables. It's that we have to show up every day and test our market. So if we're not doing that, it's really then hard or impossible to know what our ideal client needs from us, let alone to test the most engaging posts. Let me just say, for those of you who social media feels overwhelming, the part that I forgot to mention earlier is the number one is I did really well in telling my story and changing and swapping out like my personal page banner, not making my personal page about like, join me, but building that backstory. And the second part that I did really well at is networking beyond social media, networking locally, finding places that you can join, like Toastmasters and wellness professionals. Not wellness professionals, professionals that maybe would fit your ideal client, Toastmasters, Chamber of Commerce. There are a lot of people who don't look at their local backyard. You're still building a list. You're building even a referral list. So please, when you think about finding clients, it's not just in the online space. It's you reaching out to people who do already trust you. Your own doctor, massage therapist, acupuncturist, even seeing how you can do very simple things like ask that person to an interview and do it on your personal page, or lead them to your group. These are all value bombs. You are just adding value bombs as long as it relates to your ideal client. Okay, somebody's saying, hey, Wendy, Eco Health Wellness and Spas. I'm driving to work. Need a phone call again so I can get started. Okay, shoot me an email at team@rachelafeldman.com. Guys, I will say this in closing. Full transparency, as you guys know that I always share. This last year was hard for me. It really was. It was really hard to focus. It took a lot of work because I am such like a feeler in my heart, and I have such massive empathy for people that I just felt a lot of pain. And I had to really take a step back in December. Not only was it my son's bar mitzvah and both my kids' birthdays, but it was just, this December hit me harder on like, what do I need to focus on? Like, what am I not teaching them? Maybe I taught back in the day, or what am I not telling coaches about the simplicity of this, even if it feels overwhelming? So if you maybe contacted me and I was a little delayed in December, it's just because I had to take some time to just pull back and take a deep breath and really just focus on my why, focus on my heart, focus on rebuilding my adrenals, which were shot, focus on lessening some low viral stuff that many of us have, which is why we're in this business. We are autoimmuners of diagnosis and misdiagnosis, and that nonstop adrenaline that I had in this last year just kind of tanked me in a lot of ways. So I made this massive decision and said, that's it. I can fall back and, and sell programs, and that will work. But Rach, what if you just took time to just pull yourself back together and really sat with like, what do you need to teach? How do you need to show coaches it's this simple, when all I hear in some of the questions and some of the problems that you guys have is creating content? So I made a massive decision to come out like really hard this year, because we all need to do what we're meant to do, because that is how change happens. And so if I maybe didn't get back to you in December, just have a little compassion. And with that being said, what I would say is, if you feel frantic right now, up the game on your adrenal supports, up the game on your superfoods, to kind of help your stress response. Get some acupuncture, go get a massage, or, do some cupping at home, do some gua sha to really help drain the lymphatic system, sweat, all those things that we saw in that hormone. Change up your probiotics, all the things that we know, add in prebiotics, or, if you're SIBO, of course, maybe change your soil-based, organisms to just jumpstart liposomal, vitamin C, like help the body with some glutathione, and just make sure that you're upping your game, because it takes a lot of bandwidth to show up, put yourself out there, tackle fears, everything. So if you are feeling frantic, and we will say this, and then I will put this video on my website at rachelafeldman.com with some tips under. If you're feeling tired, give yourself 3 days. Like there's no need to rush. You can have a thriving January launch, 3rd, 4th week. You can have a thriving February launch, because guess what? January, everyone got hit and they're like, oh my God, I'm going to keep up with my health goals. But in my experience, the human condition then steps in at about like the 4th week. And so we start to let go of the things that we said we were going to do in January. And so if you even started pre-marketing in February and you said, I am going to open cart after Valentine's, all of a sudden people have just what? they've indulged, they've gone back to their habits, they're eating chocolate, and you can even position it like, hey, this is post-Valentine's, give yourself love. This program is your gift to love. Or do a 2-for-1. Come and bring your best friend who you love. Like, change your hormones together. Or do this with your husband, or bring your mom, or bring, there are so many things that you can be like, let's pay this forward. Same thing in March. People are like, oh my goodness, spring break, I've got to get my body together. They're not anymore thinking about January, because this is the human design. This is psychology of how we fall back into the very problems. And so the very problems, because life gets busy again, 24 hours has its obstacles. And the reason that everyone is so gung-ho in January is because that's a big push of commit your goals, make your resolutions. But what I did so beautifully was thought in every month of human psychology and all these holidays, all these things that are happening in life, where is my client getting hung up? And if it's hard to keep to the habits, when are they going to need me to kind of talk about that again? And how can I position my list building, my group programs, my one-on-one, so that people are like, oh my God, she just told me to look back at all my goals and asked me to be dead serious on whether I've achieved them. And in the brain, conscious and subconscious, it's going, oh my God, I didn't. I'm eating sugar again. I said I was going to give up grains and I'm not. My blood sugar is a mess. My doctor said, what's going on? Welcome to your first quarter of health coaching, wellness coaching, any kind of coaching. So just remember, you don't have to rush yourself right now. What I was giving in that advice is if you need to take like a week, take a week. If you need to take a week and really like calm all of that fight and flight down, especially for those of you who are like PTSD and trauma and recovery, like this year has been really hard. Or maybe you've had some things happen in your family, or it doesn't matter. It doesn't even need to be a bad thing. Maybe something just brought you off your game, like recenter yourself. It's better to take a week off than to do things in a frantic rush and be running on fumes, because then how are you really going to either show up into a live, build your group with engagement, reach out to a podcast and say, I'm a hormone expert. I work with women who are struggling with 1, 2, 3. I can come and teach on ABC. That's teaching off a PowerPoint. We are not lacking for content. When you come into our home, like yourhealthcoachbiz.com, I just need you to see how simple this is. So guys, I know this was 45 minutes. Clearly I'm never at a lack of words for this because, man, I've been in your shoes. That's it. So with that being said, I'm going to come back and, of course, answer any other questions. If you are on YouTube and you're asking questions, come into my free group. It's come into my free group on Facebook. And if you can't find it, just send us an email at team@rachaelafeldman.com. I'm going to be doing questions with live Q&A answers. So somebody is just saying, I'm doing my weight loss program for chronic fatigue. Love that. I didn't get any paid clients, but I decided to gift to 5 people. Gifting to 5 people is not bad, guys. It's kind of how we do beta testing, and to see like, how we are really positioning that. And if you didn't get clients, it's simply because maybe the message wasn't really clear in your head. And, it's okay. Just because you think it didn't work, you fail forward. I mean, we all have failures, every one of us. A lot of people just don't tell you about them. So make sure to come into our free group. There's a link on Facebook coming into our free group where we're going to be diving into these questions, doing some, like I said, live Q&A answers. And I hope that you guys have a kick butt week. And that being said, guys, it's been a pleasure to be with you. Please, if you have any questions, hit us up. I know that we can help you. I'm extremely confident. And if I don't know what to tell you, of course, I'm always going to be straight up with you. So I will see you guys later. Let's just end with some breathing. Everyone's going to do nostril breathing. Hold. You know, Navy SEALs actually do this. They're taught to do this when they're really stressed in combat. So then we're going to go. And you're going to hold that. Just elevator breath. Just reset the nervous system. And with that, I love you all. All right, guys. Mwah. Bye. Bye, guys.